Slated for release in December of 2000, the story was written and animators were churning out scenes. Sting was at the helm of writing an amazing soundtrack. Then the studio heads trashed the treatment and ordered them to start again from scratch. The making of The Emperor's New Groove, coming up. Hey animation fans, Animator Talk here to celebrate the art of animation and its contribution to entertainment of yesterday, today, and into the future. Now let's go back to the Christmas season of 2000, when Disney released its 40th animated feature, The Emperor's New Groove. The tale of a spoiled, rotten Peruvian emperor who was to be poisoned and left for dead by his fired advisor and dumped into the river by his advisor's dim-witted henchman.
Mission accomplished.
Who inadvertently mixed up potion vials, and instead of poisoning Cusco, he accidentally transforms him into a llama.
What? A llama? He's supposed to be dead!
Yeah, weird.
Now the emperor would survive the travel downstream. On his journey back to his kingdom, the emperor meets one of his subjects who teaches him life lessons in how to be a better person by the end of the film. But this wasn't always the way this film was supposed to go. Roger Allers, a storyman and storyboard artist at the studio, and once a co-director of The Lion King, took on the role of director for this new film, Kingdom of the Sun. It was a clever and quirky story which revolved around a brazen emperor named Manco, voiced by David Spade. He had a doppelganger in a llama herder, Pacha, who was at the time voiced by Owen Wilson.
The mark of the sun.
Oh wow, is that like a tattoo?
Hey, don't touch. It's a birthmark.
Oh, I've got one of those too, but mine sort of looks like a moon. See right there?
Yeah.
Much like Mark Twain's story, The Prince and the Pauper, they would decide to switch places and experience how the other lived. Manco's evil advisor, Yzma, attempts to rid herself of the emperor by transforming him into a llama and having him killed. Her comedic sidekick henchman was a little stone god named Waka, voiced by Harvey Fierstein.
Of course, now why didn't I think of that? You know what? I will just walk out there and I'll tell those 50,000 people, now you come back tomorrow.
After the wildly successful soundtracks of previous films, The Lion King and Tarzan, provided by pop stars Elton John and Phil Collins respectively, the studio wanted to add to the rich legacy of Disney music in this feature film. Roger Allers would reach out to singer-songwriter Sting to provide the soundtrack. In order to prevent the songwriting from resembling his ever-growing catalog, Sting brought on a songwriting partner named David Hartley. Together they would write several songs, an eclectic soundtrack of music that would assist to tell this story. After 2 years of production, the work print was compiled and presented to producers Thomas Schumacher and Peter Schneider. This screening led to an unforeseen and drastic decision, however. Not only were they not happy with the half-completed film, but instead of retooling things that weren't working, they decided to split the crew into two. One crew continued to try to fix the film and get it on track for success, while the other crew would go off an entirely different direction. Mark Dindal would spearhead this second crew instead of working alongside Roger. He was uncomfortable with the split, but he was tasked to do a job by the studio. So what can you do? Admittedly, they didn't care for the characters or the story they were watching. The producers decided the best course of action was to start again from scratch. Now, to say that this film was deep into production would be a great understatement. The soundtrack was complete except for the score, and there was such gorgeous animation in various stages of completion. Some of these scenes that were made available to us via the internet were so beautiful. Animation great Andreas Deja, who tackled such great villains such as Gaston, Jafar, and Scar, was finally cast a female villain, Yzma. Yzma was designed and being drawn so smoothly, her character design was basically a caricature of Eartha Kitt, the actress who provided the voice.
Just because there's snow on the roof, darling, doesn't mean there isn't fire in the furnace.
At this time, her character was struggling with her mortality and her wrinkled face. and believed the only way to get along in this world was to live in darkness by shutting down the light of the sun.
Old, just like us all, and her beautiful years are done.
I love its loungy quality because it's so earthy.
Now she prays through endless days to take her revenge on the sun.
Devastated that the film he believed in so vehemently was ordered tossed and reworked, Roger Allers eventually gave up the struggle to defend it and quit his position as director. Mark Dindal would take over direction of Kingdom of the Sun with a new version of the film, and it was renamed Kingdom in the Sun. Right. The story team reworked the character of Menko into Emperor Kuzco, a spoiled brat of a ruler who was voiced to perfection by David Spade.
Let's take a look-see. Hate your hair. Not likely. Yikes, 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 and let me guess, you have a great personality.
Pacha was completely reimagined from the look-alike of the Emperor to a large middle-aged family man-type character, and now voiced by John Goodman.
Dad, I ate a bug today.
Oh, was Mom baking again? Don't tell her I said that.
I heard that.
The role of Yzma remained for the most part. She was still voiced by Eartha Kitt, but her character design changed along with the animator.
Excellent. A few drops in his drink, then I'll propose a toast, and he will be dead before dessert.
Which is a real shame, because it's going to be delicious.
So did the henchman, who was completely reworked from a small stone god to a large, athletically built, childlike man named Kronk, voiced by the brilliant Patrick Warburton, who gave this film a whole new sense of comedy.
Squeaky, squeaker, squeaking. He doesn't really want to talk to you.
The film was given a different design aesthetic. The styling of the character designs were completely reimagined. Animators like Andreas Deja were reassigned to other films, while animators who had just completed their work on Mulan and Tarzan were added on to the remaining team. Animation great Nick Ranieri was cast to supervise Kuzco, which was perfect for the sarcastic ruler. Nick animates with such amazing facial precision. Bruce Smith took on the role of Pacha, while the late Dale Bear animated the new version of Yzma, and the great Tony Bancroft was cast to supervise and animate the scene-stealing Kronk. With the time spent on the original treatment of Kingdom of the Sun, this new film needed to be completed in a mere year and a half. Animation was running full steam ahead in Burbank, Florida, and France. It became time to approach Sting once more for the music. With the story completely rewritten, none of the previous songs fit into this new film. By this time, Sting had just finished his tour promoting Brand New Day. He felt he had completed this project and found it creatively difficult to get back into the Disney mindset. He struggled to get new music done with his already demanding schedule, where he didn't expect to make time for another several songs. While Sting had some serious differences of opinion with the ending of this new version of the film, to the point where he almost wanted off the project, by the end, he was able to pen 2 original songs for this film. My Funny Friend and Me, which would play during the credits, and a show-stopping opening song, Perfect World, performed by the great Tom Jones, which introduces the audience to our main character.
Theme song guy.
Oh yeah! He's the sovereign lord of the nation. He's the hippest cat in creation. He's the alpha.
Aside from those 2 songs, the film was mainly a non-musical. They released a soundtrack that did include a couple of the original songs, which were performed by Sting, Eartha Kitt, Rascal Flatts, and Sean Colvin. Mark Shaman was hired on to score the picture. After the standard 6 weeks, his composition was recorded on a soundstage and applied to the film. He would later get a call from the producers about a month later to thank him for his work, but they decided to go in a different direction and replaced him with John Debney, who had even less time and rushed out a beautifully jazzy score that we now know today. And wouldn't it figure, in the 11th hour, the film was given one last change. The title was reworked once again to The Emperor's New Groove, just in time for publicity to rework the entire ad campaign. Now, if I had any complaint about this film's rollout, was the publicity. The posters were very unimaginative. It was clear Disney wanted you to know that the Emperor was a selfish narcissist, but I felt Kuzco posing with the title logo and large gray letters "Me" on a white background. I felt publicity missed an opportunity there. Oh hey, did you know?
Check it out!
Sting wouldn't sing. The producers wanted Sting to sing the opening song, introducing Kuzco to the audience. Frustrated over the whole filmmaking process, Sting felt he was too old to sing a song with that kind of pep. They would end up finding a much older Tom Jones to fill in.
What's his name? Cusco!
Leaving Sting to sing My Funny Friend and Me during the end credit roll. Waka's comeback. In the dinner scene where they would poison Kuzco, Kronk prepares the table with a candle holder which resembles Waka, Yzma's original henchman from the first film treatment. Patrick Warburton, the composer? In the scene where Kronk attempts to dump Kuzco into the river, Kronk seems to pretend he's in a Mission Impossible type movie in his own mind.
Oh, he's doing his own theme music?
Patrick Warburton was tasked to improvise this scene, humming a tune on the fly. The Disney legal department would then have Patrick sign away all rights to the melody. Lawyers. Yzma the Catwoman. Toward the end of the film, Yzma accidentally transforms herself into a kitten. This is a nod to all of you Batman fans, as Eartha Kitt is well known for playing Catwoman in the 1966 Batman television series. Poison foreshadowing. In the dinner scene, Yzma discovers the mishap with the poisons.
Let me see that vial. This isn't poison.
She would dump her drink into a potted cactus. Between cuts, keen watchers will notice the cactus starts to take shape into a llama, which foreshadows Kuzco's fate. Now for the end result. Emperor was not a box office success. Where Aladdin was given a budget of $28 and Lion King was given a budget of $45 million, they at least managed to pull in larger box office numbers. The Emperor was given a budget of $100 million, only taking in $169 worldwide. I do want to thank Sting's wife, Trudy Styler. Her documentary, The Sweatbox, helped me fill in a couple holes here and there. The Sweatbox was a documentary Disney allowed her to film during the creation of Emperor. It was mostly documenting Sting's music writing process, but Disney allowed her to film within the studio and interview the creatives behind both versions of the picture. The Walt Disney Company would end up refusing her right to release this once they saw how raw it actually was, and felt it didn't necessarily shine the best light on the studio. Sting's salty language is heard throughout, so I don't recommend that for younger viewers. But for those that can handle an F-word here or there, the Sweatbox can currently be found on YouTube, and I highly recommend you catching it before Disney has it taken down again. Until next time, you keep moving forward.